Good morning. So we're here with the Harry and Sally show once again.
Hi.
And I'm Harry, the learning difficulty expert, and Sally
Hey,
is.
I'm Sally. I'm a holistically fit specialist. Yeah, bring it on. Happy Tuesday.
And today we're going to talk about intuition and the importance of following your intuition. I think in this society there's so much emphasis on, the thinking, the knowing, and it's imperfect. It leads us astray. And what's really important is to follow the gut. What do
Totally,
you think, Sally?
110% absolutely agree. And I feel sick when I go against my gut. I literally feel sick. Now, the gut's called the second brain, it's got all different terms, but over the past, particularly in the last year, I have transitioned really to 110% of being driven by listening to my gut, listening to that little niggle inside of me, that little feeling that says, no, do this, do that, rather than, it might be even as simple as driving the car, Harry, and then I'm sort of feel that I need to turn left rather than keep going forward. Doesn't make sense. And this has happened to me a number of times. And so I'll turn left and then I'll find out that there was actually an accident down the track and there was a huge traffic jam or whatever. And so that was just simple everyday stuff, but also with my career and when I'm with people and just, when you walk into a room and you can feel a vibe of people and the energy of people. And sometimes you just go, oh, that person's not sitting right with me, and you kind of walk away. Like, yeah, that's just, I don't know. In everything I do now, I listen to my gut. And you are so spot on. The head overthinks for everybody. It's just like, does your head in, doesn't it? Overthinking things, decisions, what to do. I think this is where trusting your gut helps you find a much easier solution, which puts you in a state of peace. Because
And I see so many people, I deal mostly with kids, but I see so many mums who come to me and say, apologetically, I feel something's not quite right. And the one thing I always say to them is always trust what you feel over anything else. And even when all the experts have told you, pat, pat, pat on the head, stop worrying, they'll grow out of it. I'll say, trust your gut, and often they won't have done, and they'll have put it off for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, decade, 2 decades, because they didn't trust what they felt.
Isn't it called a mother's instinct? Back in the old days, it was just like.
And I think that's because women are better at doing it.
Right, okay.
Because they get quieter, because they're at home and they're not so immersed in the world, although that's changing.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's interesting, like we know from the new studies that the gut is sending more signals out to the body than the brain does.
Yeah.
It's actually the boss.
Yeah, well, it's a two-way process, isn't it? But the gut is everything. It's your internal little ecosystem, and it affects the way you think, the way you feel. Oh yeah, the gut drives us. That's on a physical level and on an emotional level. When you get stressed, you're feeling anxious, then your tummy starts rumbling or it tightens up or you get diarrhea or whatever. That's more of the physical stuff again, linking in with the emotional. But being guided and being led with your decisions by how you feel, gut instinct, that's so strong. And it you have to overcome that little fear stepping stone to then get to that position where you've got a much better outcome because you've trusted yourself. But taking that stepping stone is probably the biggest challenge. And the more you do it, though, the easier it becomes, for sure.
That's true. And I mean, the other side of the coin from that is that in my life, whenever I've ignored that, or we've ignored that as a couple, you pay the price, You hit the traffic jam or, the train wreck or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's like buying a house. When you walk into a house and you just go, oh, I don't know, it doesn't feel right with me and it's not sitting right in the guts. And I know I bought this house, within 2 minutes because it just felt right. I trusted my gut, and in the end it was a blessing. But that was a big investment, and that was a big deal for me. Am I doing the right thing? But the doubt didn't come in so much because I really felt comfortable in the gut about it. Yeah, interesting. Um, I don't think people really, in general, listen to their gut enough and get up over that first stepping stone of getting past the fear and the anxiety, because often it's doing something going against the grain or something that's not normal to you, or not, I don't know, just something a little bit different, or it might be different to what the norm does, but doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just going into that unknown territory. Is it the right thing? Yeah, absolutely, 110%. I reckon it is.
Yeah, I think children do that. They're fluid experts at it, but when they go, they get educated in the systems that we run them through. That's when it gets submerged by the frontal cortex, the thinking and the knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And the feeling gets turned down.
Yeah.
And it's different to following the heart. It's more than that. And I think why it's so powerful is because it allows you to use the whole body to pull in all the information, not just the stuff you can understand. So you know your story about feeling to turn left and then finding out there was a car crash. You didn't know there was a car crash.
No.
So to use your head wasn't going to get you help then. But you just felt, and that picked it up. It picked up the vibration, because everything's about vibration.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, dating someone new. It's the same shit. You know,
Yes, absolutely.
just it feels right at that moment in time. And I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason, but, you know, that's, I think pairing up is very much like that, you know, not overthinking it or, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what happens there is that we know from the biology now that bodies, human beings put out a field, and when you meet somebody, the fields interact, and it's what you feel that's going to tell you about what's in the other person's field. You know, the used car salesman that you can or cannot trust. The person, you know, you feel comfortable going out with or sharing a room or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Oh man. So what would be your little tips for the week about your trusting your gut? And
I think just trust your feelings. If you sense that something is not quite right, then follow that and take it seriously. And even if you don't understand, trust it.
absolutely, let the fear go. That would be my tip. Let the fear go. Get up onto that, past that first stepping stone of the fear, a little bit anxious about it, and give it a go. And then live in it and feel it and see how it feels right. I reckon that's my tip for the week.
Yeah, awesome.
Alrighty, well, shall we sign off from here? And
thank you, Sally.
Of Harry and Sally and our Wellbeing little chats. Great. Have a good week, everyone. See ya.
Yeah.